Hello friends, in this session we'll discuss about one of the common interview question, LeetCode problem, add two numbers. Here each number is represented as a linked list. Now each node in a linked list represent one digit in the number. Now let's say if a number has 3 digits, the linked list will have 3 nodes, and as per the problem statement, the number is positive number, it's not a negative number, so it's always above 0. Now the digits are in reverse order in the linked list, and what we need to do here is add these to linked list, and the resulted output, the resulted number must be written as a linked list. There is an assumption, and as per the assumption, both numbers, two numbers, does not have any leading zeros. That's an assumption. Here is an example input. This is the first linked list. As per the description, problem statement, the numbers are in reverse order. That means the first number is 342, 342 as shown here. And the second list is here, and the second number is 465, 465. The expected output, which is sum of these two numbers, are 807, 807. Now let's discuss how to implement this. As per the problem statement, we have two numbers in linked list format, linked list 1, linked list 2. Our approach is going to be very simple. It is based on how we perform sum on two numbers. Now, as per the first linked list, the number is 192, and the second linked list, the number is 1016, 1016. How do we perform sum on these two numbers? Now it is like 2 and 6 are 8, 9 and 1 is 10. We'll add 0 here, we have a carry which is 1, and then we add these two, 1 plus 0 plus 1 is 2, and finally there is only 1 left, we'll add it here. So the total is 1208. The same way, what we are going to do, we are going to traverse through both linked lists at a time, one node. During this traversal, we will sum node values. If any carry, if the sum at two node values are more than 10, then we will add carry in the next iteration, next traversal. In case there is a difference in length of both linked lists, we will assume 0. The first linked list has length 3, second linked list has length 4. So here for the fourth node, by default we will assume 0. So now let's put the result here. So let's say that result is going to point the outcome. Now in first iteration, let's say pointer is here, initial pointer, and we'll sum here 6 plus 2, which is 8. We'll create a new node and assign this to result. Now we'll move our pointers one step at a time on both linked lists. We'll again do sum on node values, which is 10. As per our problem statement, each node should represent only one number, and while doing sum, we'll add the first digit and second digit will be acting as carry. So the first digit is 0. We'll create a node and we'll store carry value in a temporary variable. Now this node will point to this. Its next value is pointing to the newly created node. Now we'll move pointers here to the next nodes, and again we'll do sum 1 plus 0, which is 1, and there is a carry available, which is we need to include into sum. So total is 2. Create a new node, create a link, next reference, Finally, this linked list is done. We reached end, last node, but we can still move here. As discussed, when there is no node on another linked list, we assume 0 and we'll add 1 plus 0 is 1. So we'll add it here and create a node, create a reference, next reference. Now we are done with both linked lists. If you read the result 1, 2, 0, 8, which is same as our previous sum. Now this is our approach. Let's write a code for this. In order to save some time, I have already created a skeleton code, created a new class called add2lists, created an inner class which is static called node. This node represents linked list node. It has int data variable, integer data variable, a node reference called next, which is a next node pointer, a constructor to create node object which takes an integer input and the value will be assigned to data variable. Now there are two fields, head1, head2. These are basically going to represent linked list head. In our problem we are going to have two linked lists. So now this is head for linked list 1, this is head reference for linked list 2. Now I have created already a utility method. This method basically travels through the linked list and print node value in a single line. All we are doing is we are passing the head reference as an input parameter. We will iterate through each node until the linked list reaches last node. In each iteration, we are just printing the value data of the node, and we are making sure that assigning next node reference to current node. Now there is another method, add2list. We need to implement this. This method is taking two input parameters. First linked list head reference is called as first. Second linked list head reference is called as second. All we need to do is the resulted sum must be represented as another linked list. We need to return its head reference. So now we'll create a temporary variable outside of this method called result. Initially it will be null, and this is what we need to return at the end. So first, what are we going to do? We'll iterate through both linked list one step at a time. So we'll start with while loop. The exit condition is if both linked lists are not reached till end, this while loop will continue. That means if both nodes, at least one node is not null, will continue iteration. Second not equal to null. So otherwise we'll exit out of this loop. So inside this, what are we going to do? We'll just do sum of node values. Right now first and second are pointing head nodes. Let's calculate sum. Int sum, which is going to carry the sum value initially. Now ideally it is going to be first dot data plus second dot data, but there could be differences in length of each linked list. There could be cases that one linked list might reach the end, so it is better always check if node is not null. In case node is null, we will consider default digit, which is 0. So we'll check first double equal to null, we will take 0, or we will take node data. Similarly, we'll apply same logic for second also. If second double equal to null, we'll consider 0 as a default digit, else we will take second dot data. Now what if the sum is greater than 0, and in the next iteration we might have carry value. Carry value always have either 1, right, mostly 1. So we need to consider carry value here also. Let's define a carry value. Carry reference variable int carry carry. Initially we'll represent assign with 0. Now here we'll just add it carry plus. So now this is our sum. Once the sum is done, we need to reinitialize carry value because the sum can be greater than 10. In such cases, what we do, carry equal to, how can we reinitialize it? Let's check. Is sum greater than 10? If so, the carry will have value 1. If sum is less than 10, carry is going to have 0 as a value. Now once it is done, since before creating a node, as per a problem statement, each node should have a single digit. Since we have already calculated carry value, we need to consider the first digit in the sum. So how can we do? We'll just do modulus with 10 and get the remainder. Sum equal to sum modulus 10, which gives us remainder will store in sum. Now let's create a new node and new node using sum value. Now we'll create a temporary reference outside this loop. Initially it's going to be null, and we'll assign the newly created node to temp. So now what we will do, we need to return result, right? This is the output, return value from this method to list. We'll check, and this is going to be head of our resultant linked list, right? So we will check if this is null. We will point, we'll point a result to temp reference. If result double equal to null, then result is going to point to temp node reference. Else we'll make sure that we also create another node, because we must make sure that result always point to the head reference. But while adding more and more nodes, we need to keep track of the current or previous node. So we'll say that we'll create another reference previous. Initially it's going to be null, and here we'll say that previous dot next is temp, and outside the previous is going to point to temp now. So now what we need to do, we need to move first and second linked list one node at a time. So we'll check if the node first not equal to null. In such cases, make sure that first is pointing to next node reference. Similarly, we'll do same on second. We'll check if second is not equal to null, and make sure that second is pointing to its next reference. Now once we are done with this while loop, what if the last two digits resulted a carry? So a digit 1 is left, right? We need to create a node for that. So let's check if carry value is 1. If carry double equal to 1, in such cases what we do, we create a new node with carry value and assign this to tmp dot next. Right, now anyhow we are already returning the result. We are done with our logic. I have already placed a main method code to save some time. Inside this main method, we have created an object reference for add to list and constructed linked list, two linked lists. So here is the first linked list. It has 3 nodes. The number is 957, which is in reverse order, created links, and the list.head1 is pointing to the first node. And here we are printing the first linked list. Similarly, created second linked list, which is 507 507, and the list.head2 is pointing to the first node, and we are printing second linked list here. And finally, we are making a call to add to list method by providing both head references here and printing the resulted linked list here. Let's run and see the output. So here is the data, and the first number 957, the second number 507, the expected output is 1464 1464. Thanks for watching. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel.